I notice this particularly when I do interview sessions with people fresh out of school who want to be admitted into a law firm. And when I put questions about first principles, a good number of them do not remember those first principles. First of all, what are the problems that I, as the head of a litigation practice in a law firm, what are the problems I see with human resource, with legal human resource? First is that I discovered that a lot of our young colleagues coming out of school, and indeed many of those who have been in practice for a long time, are having to relearn first principles. And I will elaborate on that. I notice this particularly when I do interview sessions with people fresh out of school who want to be admitted into a law firm. And when I put questions about first principles to them, a good number of them still remember those first principles. A good number of them do not remember those first principles. And when I say first principles, I'm talking of things as basic as what are the elements of the tort of negligence, right? In what circumstances will the law imply a trust? What are the duties of a fiduciary? First principles that we learn in school, but some struggle with those principles in interview sessions. Some struggle with those principles even in practice. The second, of course, is the strategic application of those first principles to real life situations. So now I'm saying essentially that the universities, a good number of the universities, are not preparing our colleagues properly for those two things I just mentioned. Now, how did I come to that conclusion? I have not been in the education system for the last 3 or 4 decades. And so I did a very mini informal survey among my colleagues who have been more recently engaged with the educational system than myself. And what were the outcomes of my finding? I think, and I'm not just saying this because Prof. Shodekwa is on the panel, but I think that there was consensus that the private universities are doing very well in what I would call critical analysis tutorials. Now, why do I think critical analysis tutorials are important? I spoke with a friend of mine who teaches in King's College in London to get an idea of what's really important in legal education. And what came to me from that discussion was that it's not so much lectures. In actual fact, some universities underemphasize lectures. What is important, even at the undergraduate level, is critical analysis tutorials. When you have a tutorial class of about just no more than 10 people, and the lecturer distributes, if the subject to be discussed was consideration in the law of contract, the lecturer distributes a number of cases. Each student studies those cases in depth, and the tutorial is held where there is critical analysis between the lecturer and the students on a basis of equality. The lecturer does not assume an air of superiority or better knowledge. The lecturer encourages the students to criticize even the lecturer's own views. So, critical analysis.